Now, remember when Donald Trump was president and he constantly dissed the media? He exposed some of their lies and bias, the bias of the White House press corps, and he attacked journalists. I loved it, but most of the media said it was sinister, an attack on the Fourth Estate and all of that, just showing how thin-skinned and jaundiced so many of them are. They hate to be fact-checked themselves. Well, the same US journalists have been slow to criticise the latest quip from Sleepy Joe, the feeble president they tend to support.
Do you think inflation is a political liability?
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah, Biden attacking Fox News reporter Peter Doocy. No outrage from most of the journalists, of course, because they're hypocrites. Democrats, the left, it's okay for them to attack the journalists. Me, I actually love that. For starters, any journalist ought to be able to take that sort of rebuke in their stride. But secondly, it's the sharpest unscripted line I've ever seen from Sleepy Joe. Normally he's just nodding off or stumbling over some scripted lines, but that was a genuine, off-the-cuff retort from the president. Good for him. He lives. He must have been having a pretty good day. Let me bring in the Daily Telegraph's blogger to the nation, Tim Blair. Thanks for joining us again, Tim. That was good from Joe Biden. No one gave him that line. He thought of it all by himself and let it rip.
Yes, he's suddenly his own man. This is the day he truly became the president. But it's fascinating to look back at the reaction from different journalists when Trump had a go at various reporters. And they went into like a week-long spasm of grief and mourning. It was like, this has shattered them. It endangered them. And then you look at the reaction of Peter Doocy, the reporter, the Fox News reporter who was targeted this time. He's laughing. He's taking it, as you said, he's taking it in his stride. The differences are profound on the right and left in the US, in the media, as in every other sphere.
Yeah, I think Kevin Rudd, for instance, has suggested that people like you and me should be hung, drawn and quartered. But, I mean, I don't see anyone running to our defence. Hey, tell me, you did something great for the nation over the last few days, and you reflected on it in your column yesterday. That is, you sat down and watched the whole 2 hours of Joe Biden's press conference. And, my God, when you transcribed some of those comments, it was tough reading. It was one of the most inelegant columns you've ever written.
Well, when I began to feel sorry for myself about halfway through the 2-hour process, but then I remembered someone who suffers even more, the poor White House staffer who has to write those transcripts in the first place. Oh my word! You'd be rewinding and playing it over, and what did he mumble then? And eventually you just have a go at it and just thrash it up, put it on the site, and think, God, I'm earning my money here.
You could actually hear him and see him thinking and trying to remember what was the point he was starting to make at the start of the sentence, and then he completely loses the plot.
Yeah, he was asked at one point, and this is the slab that I went through for the column. He was asked at one point about the political potency of school closures or school openings. How would they affect the midterm elections coming up in November? Now, this is almost a sort of a yes-no question. A yes-no answer sort of thing, and maybe a couple of explanatory sentences. But he went on for like 3 or 4 minutes talking about God knows what, MSNBC, Fox, people finding different channels, how the talk shows are going under. And it was just this, he was interviewing himself. This is what happens in homes.
Yeah, the poor bloke. But as I say, his quip against Peter Doocy, that was pretty sharp. That's as sharp as I've seen Joe Biden.